Oh, y'all, you are live here at Ben Hameen YouTube channel, hackerhameen.podbean.com for the free audio for now, infidels. And you better chill, bring your weapon when stepping, bring on that ammunition, tripping, don't slip it, not to mention, never knew no competition, but we got to get my scream out Mo and let me hear ya holla. Not about that mighty dollar, roll with HMG, you'll follow Stevie and us, SRF Fitness all day, giving it away here at Hacker Hameen on the Friday Locker Room Infidels. It's Big Stevie Cool, still living that Bone Thugs and Harmony life. The Mo Thugs are back, Infidels, here, hackerhameen.podbean.com. Y'all. Man, Stevie, what a night, dude. What? Oh, what a night with Bone Thugs and Harmony. It was everything we would dreamed it'd be. Crazy Bone and us last night. It was a good time, man. I think you're getting over in the hip hop community more than anybody.
Hell is that?
every legendary MC we have on, Lord Jamar and now Crazy Bone, they gravitate toward big, our own savior, Big Stevie Cool, man. You guys always have a special chemistry when you're like, I'm the 80s guy, I'm going to lay out. It doesn't seem that way. The most magic moments are your connection with these guests so far. So, I mean, I'm still smiling. I didn't sleep last night hardly at all from that post-show performance buzz, and AEW had some really good stuff last night. I was, watching, trying to come down, but then toss and turn. But we're back here early morning, Friday Locker Room, Ultra Kayfabe Declassified taping.
Yeah, the show last night, probably, we keep saying it's the best show in our history, but it keeps getting better. And this is an example. I said it last night, how we are becoming a very dangerous show, because we are towing the racial lines that they're trying to draw to divide people. And when you have Lord Jamar on, and when you have Crazy Bones, and then we may even have Godfrey on, we might have these connections, because Lord Jamar was going to jump on if Crazy Bone wasn't going to be here. So that's right. Really nice. That says a lot that this guy was going to, like, right up to the end of his prepping for his upcoming podcast at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Right. He was willing to jump in and talk to us for a few minutes, and that's a really great thing. But that's not such a great thing for the people pushing the narrative that want you and me and everybody else to believe that we're really all that much different, which we're not. We're not. The difference really is, I think, people that are afraid to speak up and people that feel like they need to speak up. And Crazy Bone, Lord Jamar, and these guys made their money. They have their loyal fans, so they can't be canceled either.
Right.
It actually empowers them.
They're trying to. He popped when they said they were trying to erase him from history last night, and hip hop really hit home.
That's like silent heat, though. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to push propaganda through Bad Bunny, Cardi B, and all these other people that they're giving the awards to, or the awards are being bought by their PR firms or whoever it is. Like you said about Bad Bunny, just taking that and making the views on YouTube get to 2 million, 3 million, 10 million, whatever it is. Not like Vinny Paz, who every single day that, end of days music video, which I can't even believe it's still up on YouTube and monetized in any way, is still at got to be at 30 million plus.
Sure.
It's a song I listen to almost every day. It's coming up in my feed. But the manufactured factory properties, as you would put it, are just being over. When they keep trying to suppress Lord Jamar and Bone Thugs and Harmony and the original hip hop people that you grew up with, the ones they can't turn to make a vaccine rap, and the ones they can't turn, then what they're going to do, they don't understand. All people that, like us, or I mean, generally people don't want to be told what to enjoy, or told what to watch, or told what to gravitate towards. They're going to end up eating themselves in the end. It might take a little bit longer now, but that's what's going to end up happening.
Absolutely, man. And I to be honest with you, I don't even think Crazy Bone knows who Bad Bunny is. Like when we met,
says it all.
he kind of was like going along, but I was like, I don't even think he knows who this fucking fool is. But here's a fool we know. It's our own Billy Ray Valentine in the chat room right now. Good morning, buddy. Good to see you. Hope everything's well with you. Infinite Fringe, America Unplugged, and of course, part of the 1111 boys on the Wednesday locker room with Strangler Steve and the Andrew Bellows. So I hope you're doing well down there in the city this morning. Good to see you, pal. Also see Sonic the Headdress, Frank's Pickle Barrel Asses in the house as always. Double A Andrezen, Classified Chappie, Bernie DC, first of the chat this morning. So we appreciate all you infidels hanging with us late last night. And I'll be back later this afternoon with the Chris Silvio and hopefully MSG to talk Light the Fuse, AEW Dynamite review. And what I watched so far, I was pretty impressed with. There's always a couple things, but they're putting it together. But last night, I don't know, maybe it's the fanboy in me, and I think we dealt with it pretty fine. I wasn't trying to spin no lyrics. I had every MC I know hit me up being like, hey man, can you kick them my stuff, to just to check it out. But the MCs we do know, Maine and as GGP mentioned last night, Rated R, CNY, and Frio, Isa Black, all of them I think would impress them. Because usually, guys like that get mixtapes slid to them all the goddamn time, but we do have a lot of affiliations with underground rappers, and as well as Vinny Paz doesn't need our help. He's a legend in his own right in the underground. But dude, I really love that we got a foothold into another underground community of free thinkers. And even if you're talking about hip hop and how bad it is now to some degree, the era we're trying to connect with are the Renaissance poets of the 90s that may not have existed since I don't even know, the dark ages, kind of coming out of the feudal system when people were just focusing on that for entertainment. So we're dealing with some very high level urban environment thinkers. And I think that's a very cool platform to tap into, to cross over from just some quick world star hip hop stuff to really letting them speak their mind as men who've made their bones in an industry where, there's not a lot of spots, and it's hard to do that. And to be blessed by so many legends that it parallels wrestling, like him working with Biggie and Tupac is us getting to work with Piper and you working with every star from The Rock to whoever on down, so that's just the same. That's the entertainment industry, and hip hop personas are as phony as wrestling personas. so as my favorite part last night was him stooging off that he's a nerd for Western movies, man. Mm-hmm. I like that human moment. I really do.
Yeah, that's a question we should definitely ask people to show a different side of themselves. The thing that I liked about what he said, and this needs to be done more in society, is he didn't know what the album covers meant when they designed them. He was just like, oh, they were making them look cool. And then he looked into it, as Eddie Bravo would say, and said, holy shit, this is like straight up, like he was talking about other things, straight up revelation type stuff from the Bible. Right. That seems to be going on. And the Satan shoes. I love my two favorite moments of his just like natural raw reaction were to the Satan shoes and taxes. He had the same oh God. I want to answer something real quick. Alex is in the chat room. He asked about sauna blankets. He said he has one. He's enjoying it. The two things about sauna blankets, and the reason why I've never really tested one, is because of number one, EMF, because you have all this stuff really close to you, and also they have a tendency to actually catch fire. So make sure the one you have. Those are two really important things, especially the fire thing. So you have to be careful with the blankets because your body's basically on the heater. Not like me in my sauna where there's a panel, but I got a backrest and the panels are kind of away from me. So,
yeah.
So you need to be careful of that. Plus the microwave will be talking to you pretty soon and trying to spy on you.
Pretty much. Yeah. I don't know. If it's winter time, it seemed like it'd be nice, but wrapping myself in a blanket, even in summer, let alone a sauna one.
Yeah. I have a song for you. Joey Legend. Once again, another great guest. Go back and listen to that episode. Mm-hmm. He sent me a song his friend just put together. I'm not going to play the whole 2 minutes, but I'll have him send it to you guys, but I'll play it through the Roadcaster.
Woke up one day and the world had changed. They say the Chinese are deranged. They say they have a sickness that came from a fucking bat. High lies, nobody dies. They say you must not go outside. Line up for the vaccine, boys, and don't you question me. Suddenly my gigs are gone, don't know which kind of mask to don. You think you're fine, you've got some nerve, 2 weeks to flatten the curve. High lies, business dies, but Walmart still is open wide. Trudeau, Theresa Tam is one big fucking scam. All at once your job is gone and it won't come back till your freedom's done. You got to wear a face diaper and don't you kiss your mom. High lies, nobody dies. They say you must not go outside. China has parties now, but don't you question me. Fauci went on TV and he said that masks are a bad idea. They're dirty, wet, and full of schmutz, but now he says we're three. High lies, nobody dies.
All right, I'll
It's
send it to you guys.
phenomenal. That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And that's free. He said he just put that together. Like he just did it. And
Joey Legend put that together?
no, his friend did.
Oh,
So
I
his
was
friend
like,
is-
wow,
I'll have Joey send it to you. Maybe we'll make it an outro or something.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I love that sound, Irish Celtic little beat there, and also the Baroque harmonies and whatnot. That's great, dude. And I don't know why the word Fauci never sounded so good as when it was harmonized and in melody right there. That made me laugh for some reason. There's so many great connections that we've made in the last year, and I wish John McAfee was out so we could have him on again, and hopefully he does so we can try and see what's what. But I don't know, dude. Everything, and I think why we're coming together like this is all of these micro communities are fed up and they're looking for unity. They've pushed us so far apart from each other that everyone now is like, nah, I'm going to talk to everybody, dude. We got to do this shit instead of just being over in their own small community. So I'm thankful for the mirth that caused the magic,
That's hopefully the plan, that it'll all eventually backfire, but I think it's going to get a lot worse before it even begins to get better.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about just this week alone, there's going to be, $2 trillion supposedly. I'd love to see what's in that bill and how much is going to infrastructure. The great infrastructure plan probably has about maybe 500 million for infrastructure, and the rest of it goes to
a Drudge this morning, highest tax rate hike since 1968.
Well, I don't think it was the highest tax rate since 1968. I think it's approaching basically the war tax. The war tax at one point,
hike, not like
the hike, but the heights are the highest point it's going to get is probably what you saw if you were alive enough, according to people alive. I was alive to see that, but the tax rate was like 90% for like World War II, I believe. And they had rations and people go. The war machine actually boomed the economy, but it also made people like literally just, they taxed everybody almost to death. This was right after the Great Depression too.
Mm-hmm.
So really I think that I have to do more history research, or historical research, but I would believe there was probably meetings at the end of the Great Depression and when the New Deal came, which this is supposedly like the New Deal, that they were like, we need to boom the economy, and the fastest way to do that is with war, and started to let things happen around the globe to where we had to put ourselves into that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
there is people that say that they did decode the transmission that the Japanese were coming to attack Pearl Harbor.
Mm-hmm. The purple machine or the purple tape, Raekwon. All that plays into an invisible boogeyman with the last war we fought. And now you've got an invisible virus that can be, be working Kenny Omega soon, I guess. Maybe it'll be him versus the invisible virus and Kenny will save us all. He is the cleaner, so I've heard.
Clean my litter boxes in here. This is getting a little out of hand.
Oh, well, we've got the shits for you today, you guys. There's a ton of headlines, Stevie. So anything else you want to get in before we got to do the damage here?
Well, I do want to say I watched most of that arcade match from AEW. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Omega thing too. I saw Omega with the Bucks.
I haven't seen that yet. I saw Christian and Kazarian, bro. You got to watch that.
It's not up on YouTube yet. I wanted to. That's why the first thing I was looking to see.
Watch Wrestling LA. It kicks off the show. And it's pay-per-view main event level good, and it all makes sense. But it's one of those matches where, as a veteran, you're gonna go, why are they doing that a little bit? It's not crazy high spots, but there's spots in there where you're like, dude, I know he's going to be feeling that for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Where at the end they're just wiped out. You know, you'll get the expression. I don't know if fans understand what I'm even trying to say, but it's that feeling of, I'm not doing that again. Like usually when you come back from a show, you're like, I'm done. You know what I mean?
Well, unfortunately, with wrestling, it's not the strong first impression, and then you kind of coast through. It's like you set the bar for what you need to do from that point on. It's an example of what you have to do and what you're expected to do within that. The only thing I haven't seen everything yet. I mean, Elevation, I sent you the match list for that. I'll need a week to get through those. But the QT Marshall Cody thing seems like, okay, did you do something on Being the Elite or something on some YouTube channel that we're supposed to know about, and out of nowhere, this is what comes up? They seem to be just out of nowhere expecting me to understand what this is.
There's no backstory on it or what have you, but like the main event and that match to open, I mean, I haven't seen much else past that. A little bit right after that, but like you're just giving that away on TV, and your pay-per-views are kind of like,
I wanted to ask you this too, and I don't know if there's a story that's connected to this. I watched Elevation last week, not all of it, because I would still be watching it right now. But how do you feel about actual talent that's under contract being in the crowd during other shows like Vicky Guerrero and other? I mean, the Guns, all these people are in the crowd. They were on Dynamite, I think, and they wrestled on the Dark thing, but they were on. How do you feel about this? We hated it when the NXT talent did it, but these are actually people that wrestle on other shows, right? In the 2 or 3 shows they have. How do you feel about that?
It is corny. It's kind of blended in the background. They do feature them sometimes, especially like Billy Gunn's kids and things along those lines, or Billy even standing there. So it's still, they're far enough away. It's not as bad of a distraction as for some reason as NXT was, but it makes me go amateur, because that was a trick Rip would use, and we'd always kind of feel weird, but we'd go out there and do it because it was our spot and we were going to do what we were told. In DCW, the crowds were so light because it was a student show in the beginning, you know, like we might be pulling 40, 50 people tops, and until things started taking off. But Rip would have us go around and stand around the ring during the main event and bang on the mat and things like that to like make it seem like the locker room's really into this match and get the energy up for camera on TV. You always kind of felt like a douchebag because there's no crowd there kind of backing you, but we did what we had to do. So based on low numbers and being students, I've done empty arena shows long before COVID. I was doing them in 2007, 2008. So, when I see them, I feel I have I don't know if my reaction is able to be judged on the same level, because I have kind of a weird flashback to these times of like, okay, we're out here and no one's reacting to us, but on camera it looks good. And it's a weird feeling.
It's just, I would probably call it feels like a dystopian parody.
Kind of. Yeah, it does. You really feel how, like, you're just out there in front of nobody getting no reactions, what we play for, but you have to stay in character. And for some people who aren't used to doing heavy character work and reacting and overacting a little bit, that was a weird thing for them too. So, but when it comes to AEW, that's not a student show. Well, it is a student show in a lot of ways, I guess. but they're doing it my answer is they're devaluing their top properties when you see them there as a fan, because that's the difference. We're going through the back, we stay stars. A little bit of us is what you give them, and then you take it away, so they want more next week. But if you got somebody in a hot angle and then an hour two they're standing on the sidelines, or 1 week they take a bump and then over there they're just cheering on as fans, not a good look, dude. I mean, if you're a billionaire and you really want that, then pay for the COVID tests, have by invitation only 1,500 invitations, and then put fans over there on the sidelines now. But that's it doesn't bother me as much, but it does lower the stock price of everybody who does it.
Fair enough. Yeah. I just feel like it's the old, maybe it's a bygone era. We're right there with Crazy Bone and Lord Jamar of which side of the railing do you want to be on? And I just see that right away.
You know what I think they should do if they really need wrestlers and they need to, because they need to protect their own people. Sure, you can use Nightmare Factory kids. You can use Dusty's kids, but then you send an invitation to Matt Seidel's school, to Dudley's, to OVW, to Monster Factory, to Nick Dinsmore's school, to Gangrel's school, and say, hey, you got a chance. You students have a chance to be on camera. You need to prove that you've had a COVID test or what have you, or maybe they'll even be cool and provide it, beforehand. And then you're getting indie guys one step closer, 1 degree of separation. You're in the house of AEW, and they know what they have to do performance-wise to toe that line. But at least, it's the WWE Extras program, but using their own people makes everybody look like a fucking student.
So why even have the test though? Because with this new mysterious strain that just popped up, even if you test negative and even if you're not sick, you are sick.
I've been sick, bro. Be put in a straitjacket and taken away. I mean, just what you played in that song alone was all too. And that's using satire and parody as a way to tell truths. You know what I mean? In music and give people a dose of that. I love it. I love all that shit. But Sarah Palin's got a new form of COVID that's different and whatnot, and so now it's all been Palinized. So that's gonna be the next strain. So, oh man, but we're get down with the sickness here using the Wrestle Stink and ProWrestling.com headlines of the week to wrap it all up here. Stevie, are you ready for the pain?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, he says. He already had his COVID test. He is ready. Alexa Bliss reveals text she received from Murphy when she posts workout pics. WWE Raw superstar Alexa Bliss took to Twitter Wednesday to reveal that Murphy, her ex-fiance, sends her text messages every time she shares a workout pic on social media. Bliss wrote, "Every time I post a pic of working out or equipment, I immediately get text from Murphy asking if I'm really working out or if it's a pic. Not going to lie, it's about 50-50 depending on the day. It's about envisioning people." Murphy has yet to respond to the tweet. What? Dude, how would you like if every time your wife, or, because she is engaged to some, I don't know what he is, an ex little teen idol thing. I don't know what the dude does, or he's a musician. How would you like it if, your wife and her ex-fiance was texting her every time she posted a fucking Instagram working out pic to rib but just stay in the conversation, bro?
Here's an even better question. Did she send that tweet before she even had conversation with her current fiance? My guess is yes.
Yeah.
That's the old thing of tweet, and then have a conversation in real life with somebody. And an alternative to your tweet dive, apologize, repeat, or whatever it is.
Yeah. So he's trying to slide in the DMs. She's posting pictures of her snuggling with this guy, blowing off her business with the Fiend, because we don't really believe that she's satanic, so as we can see cute little Lexi. Now she's doing a tee-hee ha-ha story of not even the fact that this guy's sliding into her DMs, her ex-fiance, while she's engaged to another dude, but I only work out about 50% of the time. It's usually just for fucking show. Bro, everybody needs a $5 fucking face slap. Big time. Big time, bro.
I don't even know how this is news and why you're using Twitter. Why are you screenshotting this and letting people know that this is is Murphy with a girl right now? Is this going to affect?
How does Mysterio's daughter feel about this? I mean, aren't they in love?
No, she posted with another dude about a month ago, didn't she? Like, I mean, that's can't grieve forever.
So Murphy apparently doesn't have it below the waist at the end of the day, is what it is. He can't hold these hot pieces. They keep leaving for little beta boys, and when he's all jacked up, dude. So, she must have the good stuff if this guy's sliding into her DMs after they broke up, and he knows that she's with somebody else. I only see this ending strangely.
I want to tell you, I'm not going to mention any names or anything, although I'd love to. My wife and I are on the same page with some of these people, especially in the Atlanta area, that are trying to be influencers. And somebody who's doing they're doing all their virtue signaling. I told you before that I canceled something with somebody that was just completely just stop. You know what I mean? Just anything like that, just stop. But same thing. This woman was putting up an Instagram post to talk about her quick workout. Now, the workout, I don't doubt, was quick. It was much quicker than the fact that she said to somebody, hey, get a picture of me kind of walking, but I'm going to freeze frame it. Go about that far away. That person probably ran away. She had the little dumbbells walking down the street like a Desperate Housewife deal. Then the person had to run back and show her the pic. No, do it again. It probably took, my guess is 15 minutes for the workout, 45 just for taking the picture, then a couple hours just to edit it right. And to get that frame. You've seen the Brandy Rhodes pictures where she's sitting on the step, or she's in the middle of the street in a bikini, because everybody walks up and down the street in a bikini. There's something mentally and emotionally wrong with these people now that social media has absolutely broken them.
Well, I just did Pro Wrestling 101 yesterday with John Paz about working injured, and we talked about pills of the 80s and 90s and what it is, and he's like, what's the difference now between this generation and people who are addicted to that? I go, I'll tell you what they're addicted to: B12 and social media and vanity, which may kill the business quicker than opiates and fucking steroid abuse, because that's on the individual and just a black eye on the business. The rest of what they're doing, playing video games, looking like marks, fucking taking all kinds of supplements, and everyone patting them on the back just so they can take selfies in a time when they're not even on TV, or there's no crowds to fucking show this off for. That the vanity metric and the selfie and the B12 is an even more dangerous addiction to kill the industry, not the individual, kill the individual's career and bank account to some degree, than opiates were in the 80s from guys working hurt who got hooked on pills.
Well, dare I say it, at least the guys that were hooked on pills and drugs and booze or whatever knew that they had to draw money to pay for their drug addiction. I mean, I'm not saying that's any more right, but they were like, I got to make some money to feed my drug habit. This is the exact opposite. Now, I'm not somebody that wants any kind of competition, but if you're posting workouts and doing things, the first thing I would think of, which I've actually done, is how can I create a brand that I can make money off of? How can I create an affiliate model off the home gym equipment that I own to try to make some money? And how can I create multiple income streams, which I have no conflict of interest with wrestling. So WWE can't get mad at me like Twitch. This is completely different. And it's passive income. I mean, could you imagine, not that I care, because I don't really put much up on social media except to try to convert sales and help people with the products and services I have. But can you imagine if I had 2 million followers on Instagram? All I see is not how many likes. I'm sorry. It's not a using people type of attitude, but as a business person, all I'm looking at is I've barely 23,000 right now. And I'm happy to have it because I convert some sales. But can you imagine if I had 2 million Instagram followers that even if 10% of them subscribe to me on YouTube, guess what would happen? I would have 200,000 new subscribers that might look at the gym equipment or the band programs. And if I convert 10% of that, that's 20,000 sales.
Exactly.
Okay. That's the way I look at it. And it sounds maybe a little, people who know me know I'm not heartless or anything, but I'm looking at
an educated businessman who's looking at his statistics openly and honestly so he can live his life and actually build his business. Dude, you don't have to apologize for like, oh, I'm just trying to put you guys. What the point is, these fucking vanity metrics searching motherfuckers don't think that shit at all when they should be thinking about the money and about longevity. You know what I mean? But they're not, dude. They're not at all.
So what can I do? Should I just start? I don't know.
Well, I'm going to get a hold of the mafia, see if there's some hits that I can do for them. And hopefully then I'll make some videos talking about it. And then I'll get remonetized after talking about murder and extortion. That's my plan. Cause it seems to be working for other people. So
you should do clickbait and say the night I murdered. And then and then talk about how there was a low house in that town.
In the town. Oh, shit. But I won't doubt that she's banging Murphy on the side and that the other thing will go to shit, especially.
Do you think so? And I hate the fact that we even keep talking about this. Or do you think that we've all been there with the wrong girl and she gets mad at us and then post something on social media about like looking to rent a room? Anybody got a room? Like that kind of shit. Is she mad at her boyfriend and she put that up as like which doesn't do any good either way.
No.
And like you said, what money does it make for her? She could be selling, dude. She could be selling like the clothing line that she wears on TV right now. Those little dresses. She could be selling makeup and hair stuff.
Yeah, Lil Nas X made $500,000 on Satan's shoes. Why can't Alexa Bliss? Oh, carny as ever. The Pinnacle's Dax Hardwood had to get stitched up after tonight's brawl with the Inner Circle. MJF gave gifts to the new stable dressing room that was previously used by the Inner Circle. Jericho and his guys were standing close for an ambush. Pinnacle got completely destroyed as the brawl went into the directions of Daly's place. Santana and Ortiz ended up outside with FTR and threw Dash Wheeler into an ice bath. Well, that's nice of them. Both Santana and Ortiz had blood all over them, and it was due to a wound from Hardwood's head, as seen at the 2:15 mark below. You'll see Santana going after Hardwood with blood coming down the side of his face. Hardwood also posted some photos with a caption. There's one rule of a gang fight. They send one of yours to the hospital. You send one of theirs to the morgue. But a nasty cut over his ear and on his head, bro. A lot of color last night. I haven't seen that segment yet, but just this still alone looks pretty gruesome. So red equals green. And, if we're going to do crazy shit and crazy backstage fights, ladders don't know what the fuck to do or wherever. They just know that take a chunk out of your skin. This ain't a video game. This ain't Retromania. It's the real deal.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but I can assume that's not fun. That's a nasty thing. Also, we need to be careful. I mean, that's a hard way, but we talked about the color in that girls match. If you're doing it on purpose in an era of COVID and other transmissible viruses, why are you bleeding? Why didn't they didn't end the match when he bled?
No, it was just like a brawl out in the arena, I guess. Bernie DC's got a great point. 2 weeks after forming a new super faction, the Pinnacle, they get beat down. Felt this was way too soon for the Inner Circle to come back from their beat down. So, Booker of the Year not keeping his new faction strong out of the gate where they should have, 12-week run? 16? I mean, how long did Right to Censor go over on people?
I didn't get touched for 6 to 8 months. Not even touched. But the good news is that Ember NXT Moon Palmer, as she's known on Twitter, just came across with a new character where she actually does a William Shatner impression. So,
holy shit. Well, I heard
that's on WWE Backstage, by the way. I know I'm jumping around, but I'm looking at this going, you are what now? And WWE's letting you be this. I don't know, man.
Well, that's because William Shatner is being inducted into the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame.
Oh, so it was kind of a segue. I did good that time.
They did great, man. Announced Tuesday that William Shatner is set to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2020 in the celebrity wing by Keith Lee. No, I added that last part.
Dude, I'm hoping and praying that would be the biggest.
And he comes out in a full fucking red top jumper with the Star Trek shit on. The former Captain Kirk made his first appearance in 1995 King's Court segment with Jerry the King Lawler. He was involved ringside during Bret Hart versus Jeff Jarrett. Match the following week. Shatner will be inducted by the King into the Hall of Fame and guest hosted Raw in 2010. He most recently was the narrator for WWE Breaking Ground in 2015. So yeah, Shatner is going in, I know they've been taping stuff with that all week long as well. So let's see.
It's going to be an odd way they're doing the Hall of Fame. I wonder if they're going to do some virtual green screen type stuff like the Apple events do right now. Kind of very dystopian. Like I said before, if they are having a Hall of Fame and it's a year where they're supposed to say they're going to have a full house at WrestleMania, is that still the story, or is that another segue?
I think this was no. That was just all taped and green screened this week. I keep forgetting what I wanted to just ask you. Oh, Ember Moon, I heard was a botch.
No, Ember NXT Moon Palmer.
Arnold Palmer. That her performance this week was just brutally bad and amateur looking. After how long has she been? I mean, do we need to go back to I'm Lexi's friend and I got her fucking coconut macaroons at Outbound Pain? Remember that fucking brilliant segment from NXT 3 years ago? And then, she gets hurt flipping Stone Cold Stunners. What could possibly go wrong now? And now we're back to square one of amateur hour everywhere we go with these talents that we're supposed to get over.
I feel bad for them because they don't know. I'm not saying that it's not their fault to learn and know, but Crazy Bone last night, like, it's a prime example. What do you know? Well, it triggers you more than me with the YouTube comments. What do I know?
Yeah.
You don't think just because they're a YouTube commenter, there's any difference between them and the current talent that's on the roster? It's the same age group.
Yeah.
What do I know? And they don't even get the business enough to know that, like even a Rip Rogers or anybody else that didn't have fake subjective success in the business, meaning winning titles. Or winning titles, if they really knew back in the day, you got a title to help you get over.
Right.
And I knew that. I knew that back then. I was told that. This belt is to help you get over. Use it. Right now, I got a belt. I am over. I got TV time. I am over.
I'm over as fuck.
I get paid to learn how to wrestle. I am already over. That's the poison that gets injected from day one. When you're not in the red, but you start out learning in the black, meaning you start out learning and making a profit rather than starving, to give you the sense of urgency, literal sense of urgency that I will be homeless if I don't get this shit. And there were people that got it that were still homeless for the first couple of years. Yeah, back in the day, if you didn't live in your car at least a couple times before you made it in WWE, you really didn't have a career.
No, you weren't shit. And now everything's handed to you right out of college if you played volleyball. It's unbelievable.
Or you get to be head of talent relations. Volleyball is the key to getting into WWE, apparently.
New Japan Pro Wrestling unveils its brand new IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Stevie, did you see this title?
Read that again.
New Japan Pro Wrestling revealed their new heavyweight world title belt. I held the other one.
Oh, Jargo, I love his commentary on that.
What's he saying?
I mean, he seems to hate it, but still, it's Japanese wrestling, so he's torn, I guess.
Well, it looks exactly like what a lot of people are comparing it to, and why they probably did it, because he's probably going to get it soon, is Cody's neck tattoo. The Transformer plate on the belt is almost identical to that. And I like the old IWGP title. I got to hold that, and that fucking thing is got to be 45. It feels like you're lifting a 45-pound plate. It must be made out of lead, because it is heavy as hell compared to any other title I ever switched. And I would believe if anybody who ever held that IWGP title at a merch booth or got to lift it, anytime you would do a title shot, heel thing with it afterwards, people would believe it to the nth degree, because compared to a WWE belt, it weighs 30 pounds more. There's no doubt about it. So this is some weird mark out shit, and Cody will soon hold that, and maybe he can get his one tattoo covered with the championship tattoo.
I mean, that's what's going to happen. It's going to be the belt and the side plates. Yeah, people said it looked like the old Divas belt too.
It did look like the old Divas belt too. One was like there for whatever 5 months, the real girly one. But that's what we need to spend our money on, is new belts. I was going to save this, but I can't, just because it's on my mind. I was looking at Impact. Last week was a huge drop from really a big one, from 130,000 down to 116,000. Then I was watching on Twitch this week, and their numbers were down about 6 to 8%. So I was like, I wonder if the TV show will suffer 6 to 8% loss from, like Twitch was, and that would put them close to 100,000. Stevie, Tuesday's taped Impact Wrestling episode featuring James Storm defeating Eric Young in the main event for his 1,000 match drew just 38,000 viewers on Access TV, according to Showbuzz Daily. Didn't place in the cable top 150, no demographic or viewership rankings. These numbers are down last week from 116,000 with a .04 and number 146 in the top 150. 135 for the night on viewership. This was the last Tuesday taping before they moved to Thursday nights beginning next week. Unless this is some sort of error from Nielsen, this would be a record low for the show since it moved to Access in the fall of 2019. This week's Impact viewership is down 67.24% from last week. The only thing I can think of is that the other numbers don't back it up. So them not even being the top 150, because if it was a misprint, they would be, let's say it was 138,000 up from 116, then they would be in the top 150, but they're not. So I got to believe this 38,000 could be accurate. And this wasn't even up against AEW or NXT moving over to Tuesday nights. They haven't made the move yet. So now I predicted Impact to be under 100,000 on their first week, moving to Thursday nights. They didn't even move, and we're at 38,000. What's got to be going on in the office and the locker room right now, bro, with this?
I don't know. Could this be what finally kills them?
How could you not pull the plug at under 40? I mean, under 100,000, you got to pull the plug, really. We're under 50,000, lost 67% of your audience. There was no big marketing. We're moving to Thursdays. No one's going to fucking jump over there to be like, oh, it's Thursday now, our only night off of wrestling. Let's watch Impact.
They run concerts on rerun, and I got to assume Access TV gets higher ratings for the concerts that are from 15 years ago and other stuff. I don't know. I mean, this could maybe even explain why Don Callis is kind of like doubling up and trying to have the safety net of AEW. He's basically on AEW more than Impact in a way.
Yeah.
Or at least more people are seeing them. People could be looking to do that. I wonder what Khan thinks, looking at that number, to say I could buy them for nothing, or just take over all the overhead for nothing and have them get it off the books.
That's what they're going to do. I got to believe that when the door closes on the car with D'Amore and Callis and Omega in there, they're having their buddy plot to how to take over, get the most money, and ensure that they've got ongoing fucking paychecks coming in. You know what I mean? So I just don't see it. 38,000 people like that blew my my hair back this morning.
Yeah.
My beard back, I should say.
I can't wait for AEW's new show, To the Fourth Degree, because it's going to be the fourth show with 15 to 20 matches with Impact wrestlers on it.
Pretty rough, man. I mean, Dreamer will probably come out on top like he always does.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's going to be a rough time. Like, here's the thing. There's so many great talents at Impact compared to AEW. There's better performances. There's better matches. There's better stories from the level of, I don't know about Christian and Kazarian because they tore it down, but like the guys who are supposed to be getting over aren't. And the guys who are working their ass off, like a Sami Callihan, need to be featured other places, and even Triple XL, Rohit Raju, I think will probably go to NXT. They'd be crazy not to take them. And there's plenty of others, but I don't know, man. Like, that means the Librarians and Marco Stunt and whoever else, I don't think are long for this world on the roster, bro. I think it's back to the indies again, because if Impact goes down, you're going to want to cherry pick their best talents. And if 10 people come on, that means 8 people's contracts aren't getting renewed.
Well, we keep saying that, but they keep hiring people.
Yeah, maybe I need to do a little more. No, I don't think I can hang. January 5th, 148, January 12th, 161, 19th, 147, January 26th, 186,000 viewers. 2nd, 173, 153 on the 9th, 197 on February 16th. February 23rd, 170,000. March 2nd, 134. March 9th, 144,000. 16th, 146,000. March 23rd, 116,000. And now 38,000. That is a rough trend, bro.
Let me bring this up here because I feel like I understand a double-edged sword that guys like Dreamer and other people have legacies in wrestling, will always be booked, will always have work. But ever since 2020, when shows pretty much went away almost forever at this point, you have to think about another income stream. You cannot rely on carny wrestling to just like Swinger tells me it sometimes, back in the past when he was working the indie shows before Impact, he's like, I'm just trying to squeeze everything I can out of this. Where you and I are thinking, all right, one income stream's up, like with you, with the YouTube thing. You're thinking, okay, I'm trying to do this, but now I need to think of another income stream where they're not just going to just flip the switch and pull the plug on me out of nowhere.
Yep.
When you're I think I've said this before, I've never been comfortable with my future and my family's future and my destiny being in another person's hands, especially these people, which quite frankly, people who run wrestling promotions and own them they're not the best business people. And they're also not the people that you should be trusting. You're like Vince said it. He with Dixie Carter, he goes, I'm trusting this woman with my livelihood. And that's when he knew I gotta get away from this. This is the person that I'm trusting to feed my family.
Right.
No. And that's why the Dreamer, the Moors are all in the Calluses, especially the Moore, are always like going to find a spot because they just need to be in it for some reason.
Yep.
Tommy, I think, loves to be in it, but doesn't need to and can transcend the wrestling business. Tommy could have his own radio show. Tommy could talk about anything he wants. He's as big of a star in some ways as any top guy who's ever been there because everybody knows who Tommy Dreamer is. Monetize that somewhere outside wrestling. Don't depend on Ed Norholm and these ratings and all this other stuff to do it, or even Tony Khan if that's your next step.
Well, it's got to be for Dreamer, right? I believe he'd be over there.
Well, they don't seem to be listening too much to the Asians that are there right now. Why do you need another one?
That's true. But he likes to collect things. He just bought the rights to the Pixies, Where Is My Mind, like out of nowhere. And now that's Orange Cassidy's new music. And you're like, okay, this wasn't his music on the indies or what he was known for in his entrance, but I guess Where Is My Mind is his music now. Just because I'm rich and I can do what the fuck I want, then doesn't make any sense. But So be it. Let's see here. This one I liked. Ray Flores added to the broadcast team for MLW's Never Say Never. And I believe somebody, I can't remember who it was yesterday, it might have been Adam Rivera, added him to the Hameen Media discussion group. He's like, hey, this guy's really good, and he just got in MLW. I said, I know Ray Flores. Worked plenty of shows with him in Chicago, did stuff with him on WrestleZone, a consummate professional and a guy who's got a unique, true announcer's voice that is kind of, you could put him in any era in the last 100 years. And, you know, he could bring out Muhammad Ali or a Mike Tyson fight or wrestling, man. He's really got a classic voice, kind of unique in the way of, what's the dude's name who just they got rid of out of NXT, who's UFC guy who's got the depression issues that JBL messed with. What's his name?
Oh, Mauro Ranallo.
He's as unique as Mauro Ranallo is in being able to listen to him. Not necessarily the same style, but really has a top 5 announcer quality about him. So I'm pumped for Ray Flores. I hope you guys, if you see him in the Hameen Media discussion group, that's who he is. And obviously, there's plenty of workers in there, from Stevie Richards to Rip Rogers to Killer Cross. We even had, until his passing, Animal in there. So Ray Flores, another industry name in the Hameen Media discussion group, but I'm real happy for him getting a shot, man. He's definitely a good dude.
Yeah, I used to work with, when I did Lucha Libre USA, I would work with Kevin Kelly, and I did commentary on that. I wish that, this guy has a lot of professional experience, too, with the boxing world.
Bellator boxing, he's done a lot.
If I was the wrestler, I know there's an on-air team, so there's a wrestler that's commentating with him. I believe a big guy with glasses. Is that who it is?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I believe so.
That guy, if you don't have experience, and even if you do, sit on everything that guy does to prepare, learn the pacing, the cadence, how to do things, be the Tony Romo of MLW, and have that guy be your Jim Nance, who's going to teach you and practice and do this and that. The opportunity that you have right now to actually become an even better broadcaster that might carry you past wrestling. You never know. You might be commentating on boxing matches, right, if you have the interest in it. I'm just looking at the things that I missed in the past and what this guy might be able to learn from Ray Flores.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there is a ton to learn from. When I heard him calling matches, I got excited backstage. I was like, this guy's going to be calling my match. I'm pumped about it because I just listened to what he was doing on commentary, and he was absolutely killing it. So a lot of good times at those Pro Wrestling Blitz shows in Chicago. I missed that Fed, and he was where we crossed paths and worked together was there. So good on him, man. Another top WWE star praises the Bellas, who are now in the WWE Hall of Fame. Drew McIntyre took to Twitter this afternoon and reacted to the Bella twins being inducted into the 2020 WWE Hall of Fame class. The Bella twins posted a photo to show off their Hall of Fame rings from the 2020 induction ceremony taping held on Tuesday. McIntyre responded and said he's very proud to watch them create their own paths. I'm very proud to watch you create your own paths. You've grown into great performers, entrepreneurs, fantastic mothers, and now WWE Hall of Famers, McIntyre wrote. The photo McIntyre shared was from a 6-person match on April 10th, 2012 SmackDown episode. The match saw 2021 Hall of Famer The Great Khali team with Alicia Fox and Natty for a win over McIntyre and the Bellas. I mean, that's a classic shitty 6 right there. McIntyre walked out on the Bellas early in the match saying he was better than that. This led to Fox getting the pin on Nikki Bella. You remember that one when Nikki went over or Fox went over on Nikki?
Oh, the CTE. I can't believe I missed that memorable moment. By the way, they're posting pictures and sharing pictures of them with the Hall of Fame rings and the awards already.
Yeah, they because they're taping during the day there. So
yeah, but why share it now? Even TLC, the Florida TV networks, will not let the 1,000-pound sisters post on social media until the episode airs. So are you worse than TLC?
Yes, but they also can't stop themselves. They're not on pills and protecting. They got that fucking participation trophy, and here they are. And really, why are the Bella twins at age whatever going into the Hall of Fame, bro? I mean, at the end of the day, I can't name you the top 3 things from the Bellas ever that are even close to Hall of Fame worthy.
Do you think they're going to show the dive on the
Oh,
sizzle
dude,
reel?
that's everything that I can think of, aside from the only thing that pops me is the Brie Bella and Stephanie bitch spot, because my buddy Package Chris Sharp, who's now an NXT referee, was in that spot. That's the only thing that I remember as being worthy of anything. And then the obviously botched marriage, what was going to be with John Cena. Like, that's what you're in the Hall of Fame for. You were John Cena's chick, and you married Daniel Bryan, and then you became fake Kardashians. There's nothing wrestling contribution wise that's Hall of Fame worthy.
It's thank God she's okay. Let's just say that. But this,
yeah,
an eye for an eye, and then Brie mode and
Brie mode.
No, she screamed it, didn't she?
Yeah, Brie mode and fucking dive right into the ground.
Listen, I'm not very. I don't make fun of. Well, I do, but I never splashed anybody off the top rope, and I never dove through the ropes. But I knew I couldn't do it.
You also never smashed your face in the ground on TV doing it either. So that's
because I knew I would. I'm smart enough to know my own limitations. So Snoop and Bella twins, I don't know how you got in the same sentence, but good for you.
Good on you.
I really would like to take a deep dive sometime and see what are the parameters and the requirements to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. That deserves a show on its own.
That does, really. I mean, what?
Or just 2 seconds, Vince calls it, and that's it.
And could, because Johnny Ace is back in the position as well.
I wonder if it's one of those things like when I said I got released, if they're just calling names out, and it could have been either way. Like if he got confused and he thought, rather than, oh, Stevie Richards, Vince thought it was the Hall of Fame and not getting released. So I might have been like a current wrestler that was in the Hall of Fame. It could have went either way with crazy Vince.
Your career screams Hall of Fame 1,000 times more.
But let's be serious and honest here. Not that it's even a conversation that needs to be had, because it's a fake subjective business run by the same people you say run Hollywood. See how I don't have to say the words. It doesn't matter. And this has been asked of me every single year about, like, should you be in the Hall of Fame? Should you? Absolutely not.
What do you mean? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
But you're wrong.
It's a subjective thing, so it doesn't matter. It's not based on performance.
Let's talk about subjective of what it is.
It's already been determined, my value as a human being by that company, as a performer, anything else, with the way you can call Right to Censor or BWO or whatever it might be. But these were things, especially Right to Censor, that were shut down from internal politics of being too good for its own good. And that was the pattern of my career. And I don't want to leave my house. So I wouldn't want to, I'd be like, my speech would be like, thank you.
Yeah.
And leave, hop in a golf cart and go to my car and leave.
Hop in a golf cart and go fight Apollo Crews. That's what you do there.
Fight him on a split screen. But I would literally drive. I would go to my car and have my car parked. And if it's in the stadium, I have my car parked right by the stage. My 2006 paid off Honda Accord that I don't even wash. And I would drive back to Atlanta because I don't even wait till the next morning for the flight. I'm about to experience that on Monday with my Hollywood friends too.
But those bookings and what have you afterwards for some legends, that ring increases money. But I'm not going to let you get out of jail free on that. And I know
I'm not putting myself down. I'll let you speak. I'm not putting myself down. I just look at that and I'm like, it's not. I don't even know why it doesn't even feel cool to me to be acknowledged. You should have acknowledged me, and I would have made money at the time I was working there. How's that?
for what you're saying of the company acknowledgement and whatnot, that's what we want as workers. But for the reality of the fucking history of wrestling, the Bellas were models who got signed, who had no talent in the ring, were put on TV way too soon, who could never really connect and get over. The only thing was that they were hot and sexy and had fake gimmicks, and that they were dating top guys. Like, that's what they were brought in for. And now they're Hall of Famers at the end of the day because they flipped that into entrepreneurism. Okay, I'll give you that. But, like, you're not going to make the argument against the history of wrestling for the fan base that wants their wrestlers immortalized. A guy who fucking did it all in comedy in ECW, was part of a rib group on the NWO that already, that alone is worthy right there before anything else of Hall of Fame level stature. Then he goes to WCW and gets over and is Raven's right hand guy. Then he goes to WWE and is in the highest rated segment in a group with Right to Censor. Each one of those three, just being in three of the major companies alone, outside of the fucking work that you did, is worthy of Hall of Fame. And then each one of those three storylines and crews that you were in is worthy of another ring, possibly to induct Right to Censor, Blue World Order, and Stevie Richards. I submit that you should be a 3-time Hall of Famer over Ric Flair and equal to whatever they got going on with DX in there, because that's how important your part of the legacy of wrestling through the 90s actually is. As important as the Dudley Boys, as important as probably Raven's work going across all three, if not even more so, because you had a better run than Raven did in WWE. And to not acknowledge it when we're putting over some chicks who were hired to be, we're not doing rats anymore, boys. We're going to fly in some fucking grade A California tang for you. That's what the legacy truly is. And I won't sit here and let you beat yourself up based on the office version of what gets put over versus the true history of what wrestling is. And now at the end of the day, the Hall of Fame is the Hall of Fake. But seriously, if we're going to have that conversation, no chance in hell that they're more over than you are in the history of wrestling, bro. Never. So you're going to have to take that heat on the chin.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, I guess in your opinion, the history of wrestling could not be told without, but the history of wrestling could not be told without Vince Russo. The history, there's many people that deserve it before me. The Vince Russos of the world, I would say, dare say Raven, because he changed the entire identity of ECW. He got over in WCW in a NWO filled Hollywood Hulk Hogan Goldberg. Dare I say he got the best match out of Goldberg's career. And if you watch that US title match, he definitely deserves it. Dreamer deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Would I dare say this year would be a Dreamer Hall of Fame?
I would say
there's lots of guys. If I was to be in that, I would say I would say a guy like Chris Candido as the one induction who's passed away would be guys that influence certain things and may never get their due. I'm still here and I'm still able to create other legacies outside of that. So I don't know, man. I appreciate it. Someone Frank said I don't even sell for myself, which is true because I don't. That's why I'm able to. It's what I said earlier about guys that are continuing to pick off the wrestling payoff tree because that's all they got. I want to create other income streams and other things to never need this again. I want people to say Stevie Richards is that resistance band guy. Stevie Richards is, he's that home gym guy. He used to wrestle. Like, that's what I wanted. And it's starting to flip. And that's what I like. Yeah. Rather than the wrestler that's trying to do something outside of wrestling.
And that's right when they'll go, we need him in the Hall of Fame because he's almost making it on his own. We got to fucking pull him back in. And then you'll be IC champ.
And whoever created an AOL name with my name, I told people this line, they said, you're not Stevie Richards. And I go, if I was going to make pretend I was anybody, it would be Brad Pitt. It wouldn't be Stevie Richards. So, like I'm aiming, I know I'm self-deprecating. I would say, I do in a way keep myself in check, which I don't need to because I'm never going to, believe any of this stuff. You know what I mean? Like even with what we've really created with our brands and with Russo and everything, we're still hungry in a way where we're not taking it for granted that these people are going to show up in the chat room. These people are going to show up on YouTube. These people are going to subscribe. We got to work every day to grow the numbers, and it's cool that you can build that.
Until they shut down the monetization, and that's all that goes out the window. Well, not out the window. The show's still here. Bobby Lashley, you might have heard of him, brought an end to the Hurt Business on Raw this week, and he's commented on that decision. He Lashley turned on both Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander in the opening segment of the show this week. He and MVP called him out for failing to beat Drew McIntyre last week and proceeded to attack both men. He said, "The dead weight's gone at Cedric Alexander. Keep talking that shit. You can get it too. Opportunities like this don't come around often. The WWE roster better handle its business." So him using social media as Bobby has to work things in the right way. I'm glad he's getting his time to shine here, but right to follow up on that, Batista says a recent WWE creative decision was bad for business. Former WWE champ Batista took to Twitter today, calling out the breakup of the Hurt Business, as noted on Monday's Raw. MVP, yada, yada, I just read that. He said, "Let's try this again. Who in their right mind would break up the Hurt Business already?" Answer, no one. Shrugging emoji, shaking my fucking head, bad for business, he wrote. I couldn't agree more with Batista on this. What a stupid fucking shotgunned. Why wouldn't you do this if you're going to do it with Mania stakes, and to do this 2 weeks before and to go against the id of what the Hurt Business was blue chip athletes to look like NFL prospects who will no longer be treated like clowns in a minstrel show. Street Profits, see New Day, see others. Now you're Nigerian Prince. This type of dumb shit. Batista's dead on it here. This was absolutely way too fucking early to do this, if you should ever break these guys up at all. In fact, they should be holding all the belts, have all the gold, and be all top prospects. Now we're just doing some phony, stupid wrestling shit. Shelton Benjamin and Cedric are going to be on the bottom of the deck, and now Lashley's not going to have any backup, and he will not shine as brightly as he should have just with MVP.
I really can't believe that these guys all didn't get together and say, this is really bad. We're not doing this. They could have coexisted in different realms of the show without ever interacting.
Agree.
MVP didn't even need to really manage the tag team right now. They were just in the Hurt Business, and he could have been with Lashley. Or he could have been on commentary and commentating throughout the show, and Lashley and them are doing their own thing. The only thing that feels so much wrestling to me, and I think it's going to happen when they realize what they've done, is the old Vince McMahon. It was all ruse.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing, too. Like football players, and I could use the football analogy, football players don't go and try to injure their teammates and then turn around and say, even though I hurt you and I beat you up and I did this and that, we were only doing that to trick the fans. Once you make that physical contact and you beat somebody down, either one of two things is going to happen. You expose the phoniness of wrestling, because why would they be with, or Shelton and Cedric are going to look like complete pussies that aren't over at all, emasculated, which is not what the Hurt Business gimmick was supposed to be. You brought these guys up that were doing jobs to everybody and weren't doing a damn thing. And they actually built characters that people started to actually grip onto. But unfortunately, Vince McMahon saw you 12 hours a day backstage for 6 months. He got tired of seeing all you together and turned around and said, time to break you up. His gauge on time is not the same as the viewer that sees the talent on TV.
Let me read this, and I'm coming right back to you, because I think you'll have plenty to say on that. Again, this is the show. How long have we said this? MVP comments on people using social media to attack him about his past. MVP took to Twitter and comment to talk about people attacking him and his criminal past in prison. He tweeted, "I'm amused by people who come at me on social media from the anonymity of a keyboard. My favorite is when they attack me about my criminal past and prison time. It really doesn't hurt my feelings because I've overcome all that, and now I'm an example of inspiration to others." MVP also tweeted that he believes there are a number of people that resent deeply that a convicted felon who came from poverty has accomplished more than they ever have. He wrote, I think there's a number of people out there that resent me very deeply, and convicted felon, and globally known professional wrestler has accomplished more than they have despite my baggage. Some say more about them than me. As a teenager, MVP was part of a cruise ship robbery. He served 9.5 years in prison for armed robbery and kidnapping. I didn't know it was that long. Wow. That they took 9.5 years from his life. It was a corrections officer who was also an independent wrestler that gave him the idea of becoming a pro wrestler. MVP opened up about it in the past in 2019 at a TEDx event called When Do I Stop Being a Criminal, which you can keep checking out. But dude, isn't that the promo? Isn't that the foundation of look where I am now and what the it of the Hurt Business is and that kind of real talk? But instead, we're back to phony wrestling. He's the destroyer, a destroyer of worlds. Instead of, no, he's an empowered black athlete who works his ass off in the gym as an educated man. This guy's an ex-felon who now wears $2,000 Hart Schaffner Marks or Jack Victor suits and is on top and has great gift of gab, and we're professionals doing real contracts. These other two are top guys as well, and that were underrated. Instead, we cut the dead weight, and he's just towing the line of what Vince wants him to do so he can stay champion on top and work his ass off. But we're just missing. You're getting 20% value out of what should be, in a time of post Black Lives Matter and people wanting to believe in athletes using sports to bridge those racial divides. Instead, we just said, fuck it. We're back to the old model again.
Here's an interesting question, or the most important question. Why are people getting on MVP about being someone with a past?
I don't know.
And if they are that jealous, yeah, it does say something more about you than him. This is what's wrong with the world. Obviously, a lot of times comparison is the thief of joy, but it can make you one miserable son of a bitch too if you just sit there and blame everybody else for your problems. I dare say MVP has been through slightly more than most people, and after 9.5 years of pretty much not having any freedom at all. You think you don't have any freedom because you have to wear a mask because you live on a prison planet with no cells? This dude was actually in a real prison with bars.
9.5 years is a long stretch, bro.
9.5 years, a long stretch, and then you're not in solitary. You're around people, and there's dangers everywhere you go. And that guy survived all that stuff. If I were Vince, I'd be like, I need for you to go everywhere you can. Here's a budget. Go speak to these children. The Hurt Business, going into black communities and speaking to each and every one of them.
That's the whole thing right there, bro. Like that, I mean, and just strapping them the day after Black History Month, all the small things that add up.
Repeat that again. You broke up. I know what you said, but repeat what they did. What they did the day after Black History. They did this on March 1st. They had 28 days to do this.
Yep, they could have put the title on him the week before, no problem, and it would have fit in the storyline perfectly. But they wait till the day after Black History Month to make Bobby Lashley into the black champion that's undeniable. I mean, Kofi was before that, and even The Rock, which people want to make that argument. But here is the group of people that should be doing exactly what you're saying: the crossover, the outreach. The be proud of yourself, young black man, and you can strive even if you have to overcome adversity of a 4-prison profit system that we talked about with Crazy last night about too. So, this was the time to overcome all that. And Vince keeps claiming, oh, Martin Luther King's my hero. Yeah, well, everything you do goes against the principles of what that should be. So more hypocrisy and light up the pentagram and get the white girl in it.
Yeah, exactly. And if they are doing that, because all 4 of those guys might be doing it on their own time, you need to publicize it. And yeah, why? Here's another question. What you just said, Martin Luther King is Vince's hero. He puts a tribute up every year, and I've seen Vince speak about it. And back then when I was there, yeah, it's believable in the words and the actions back then. But right now, wouldn't Vince pull New Day aside, or Big E or the Streets Profits, if they even started to do any of that stuff on their own and say, no, that's not,
Wow.
you're more than that. Shouldn't that be what a leader does in that
Absolutely,
situation?
bro. Absolutely. If they tried to pitch some shucking and jiving, but this is 2021. It's all you could do is take every other white empowered gimmick from the past and put a black man in there and rerun them with a whole new spin on it. That was a great point there from who was that? Sonic. That's Titus O'Neil's gimmick. There can only be one. But did you see the Titus O'Neil commercial break with him hosting a WrestleMania this year with Hogan, which is obviously a rib as well, a total rib. But did you see what his commercial break was for?
No.
Dairy Queen, eating with his sons. Food's very important to our family. Meanwhile, the guy's built like a Greek god, and his sons look like pro athletes too now. And they've been around WWE forever, and we love to eat. Where do they go? Dairy Queen. What are they eating? Chicken. Like, dude, just like one tone deaf thing after another. It's the new chicken finger basket. And, these empowered black men say so. It's just like, why, bro? Why not let him do the CarMax commercial and let Miz and Morrison do the fucking chicken commercial?
Why do you have professional athletes going to Dairy Queen?
Exactly. Well, I mean, the sponsorship is there, but
the sponsorship is just where they used to turn down stuff. Vince said that, remember? They used to turn down people wanting ads because it wasn't in line with their identity of the Attitude Era. They couldn't do, here's a Barbie commercial after Austin stuns Linda McMahon, like what? You don't do that. They've just been, this company has been one big money grab year after year after year. And unfortunately, there's not going to be a product to even grab money with after a while.
You can get Ric Flair's term life insurance.
Or you can get his power treats.
Or his power washer.
THX. The power washer. Yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal around here in Smyrna.
There's a selling out, man. They're hard to find. Somebody who sold out and got the fuck out. Good on her. Charlie Caruso announces her WWE departure and new full-time role with ESPN. Man, she looks jacked in that fucking picture. Charlie Caruso has officially confirmed her departure this week, announcing her new role away from the company. She is now working full-time with ESPN. She will continue to contribute to First Take, Sports Center, and Sports Nation. Will also co-host the weekly First Take, her Take podcast, and Caruso posted an lengthy Instagram message thanking WWE for the opportunity. Her departure won't come as a big surprise. As reported this month that she did have backstage heat due to showing up late for certain interviews and backstage segments. It was noted at the time Vince McMahon had heard of the situation and took exception to it. Caruso worked with WWE from early 2016, and she worked on NXT before moving to the main roster. Puts out a nice message, PC, but then I saw another story on Wrestle Stink where she addressed that there wasn't really any heat, and the internet's going to talk, but there is no shit that leaks and then you just up and leave and it's not the truth. You know what I mean? Some contract negotiation stuff was supposed to happen, and I believe she was probably tired of hosting those stupid after shows when she can do the other. And she said she was in the makeup chair 6 a.m. and some of the days were 14-hour days. So, that's just the way they treat their performers over there, right?
Well, ESPN or WWE?
WWE.
ESPN is known to work their employees to death too. She's probably using ESPN to get the Fox Sports. Charles Barkley, TNT halftime show is probably the best. I wish that they could let the boys talk like that on a WWE kickoff show, or they just goofing off and doing whatever. That Shaq Charles Barkley interaction is what wrestling needs, with two of the boys just being like, someone saying to me like, hey, how many Marine trailers did you watch? And I jab them back, you know what I mean? And they're just laughing. Like, it's just her thing though is, here's the whole thing. I believe her over them as far as she was leaving for ESPN and they're like, you can't quit, you're fired. You know what I mean? And they announced it before she was allowed to announce this. And they were probably mad at her because she was doing the ESPN thing going, you're not WWE, you're not loyal to WWE, you're not loyal to the family, all this bullshit. Good for her. We told her how many years we've been saying, go to ESPN. You're too good for this place.
I guess everybody's putting over, forget the racism because the Dairy Queen chicken fingers are that good.
Well, that's Trump. No pun intended, but that trumps all racism.
Chicken fingers are the great uniter. I'm more of a Tully's man myself, though. Steve Austin, you might have heard of him. Stone Cold confirms that he will not be a part of WrestleMania 37. Stone Cold says he's quite often around during Mania weekend. Has made plenty of surprise appearances over the years for promos or in-ring segments. However, the case this year, as he confirms to Wrestle Stink that he's not been contacted, they didn't reach out to me this year. I think they got their hands full with what they're doing. I think it only makes sense for me to come back in Texas or LA. Yeah, obviously Texas. It'd be great to go back to Dallas. So let's see what happens there. But I'm fine sitting in the house watching this one. We've been trying to make the move out to LA and move out of LA and move permanently over here to Nevada. So we've had a ton of stuff going on. I'll be watching. I'm okay with not being there. Strange that they're not bringing in top draws to even do small things and that they're going out of their way to kind of be like, this is like JR and Conrad. Hey, are you going? No, I'm not going this year. Stone, everybody who's been talking about Romania who, could draw a dime from it is kind of like, nah, not going, watching from home. And that's not going to help with ticket sales.
Well, how many people are not watching from home either? Especially with this Peacock deal with the streaming, you can't even pause it or anything. There's tons of things with the streaming service, not just the censoring and the removing stuff from history, which, by the way, I know what they're trying to do, right? But like you said last show, the line, the goalpost that they keep moving, that Kerwin White is still up there. The Chavo gimmick, that's going to eventually have to go.
We're coming.
Every tenet of professional wrestling needs to be removed because it's all based on culture wars. It's all based on stereotypes. It's just what it is. Did you say advertising is the most racist and sexist form of community, or an ageist? Wrestling fits in right there. So what do?
You tell all the SJWs to shut the fuck up. And this is the past.
Well, here's the other thing. Well, here's the opportunity. When they have the opportunity to have Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre, and they presented as two big, tough sons of bitches that are going to fight, and we can't wait to see what happens. They have to fill that with the drama when it doesn't need it. Now you're filling it with stereotypes and swords and kilts and, black people fighting black people and can't get along and all this bullshit that you don't need to do. It's two guys that look legitimate, that are legitimate, that are going to fight at WrestleMania. Let's see what happens. Leave it up to the imagination. You don't have to do anything more. That's where they get it wrong.
Yep. Every time. And right before it's time to do it too. 2 weeks out, they get it wrong just to fuck with themselves. I don't get that self-sabotage at all, bro. But definitely we have Peacock to close out our headlines day, but I got two more before that. But I did pop because people, what they're calling it now on in the Hami Media discussion group, Russo brand. Everyone's just calling Peacock. They're referring to as the cock now. It's like the network, the cock. So
charge my cock. Hey, listen, money grab, an easy $1 billion. Why would Vince sell something he has complete control over? It's not like that guy. He has no legacy to leave to anybody now. He's literally clearing the deck.
It's spring cleaning, man. It's like, all right, we're all moving on from here. And even that's a major asset that wouldn't you want Stephanie and them to cash in on? He's cashing in on it, and then maybe they'll split the money and they'll all be done.
There'll be one last cash out completely where they just sell all the stocks and are gone.
All right. But but now it's got all the assets too.
Yeah, the assets are something. Here's what I see. If you think they're just going to sell it and walk away, there's a 5-year stretch where Hunter and Stephanie and whoever else wants to stay on are going to draw salaries that are super high salaries.
Yeah.
So they're going to continue to make money without any of the pressure.
Right. But I don't know. Now with the library gone and what they're doing to it, we'll get to it. But before that, Mustafa Ali believes WWE trusts him on the microphone. He recently spoke about trust and faith that the company has in him right now. He spoke to Metro UK, where he reflected on one of his first promos as Retribution's leader, where he made it clear he couldn't believe what he was able to say what he did. However, he believes that was because WWE trusts him. He said, I still can't believe I got away with saying it. One of the first Retribution promos I ever said, one of the lines was, this company couldn't figure out how to make a buck off of someone named Mustafa Ali. The weight of that line is a lot. It kind of got glossed over in the grand scheme of things because we're talking about it so much. But if you really go back and watch all the promos and what I said, how I explained the names and the masks, that was me filling in the blanks. Anytime I have an opportunity to shed light on real life issues, I'm going to do it. I was very fortunate. I have a very good relationship with the creative writing team and with Vince himself as far as when it comes to what I want to say. I believe a lot of trust, because some of the things I bring up are controversial and there's a way to say it. So talking blatantly about racial discrimination wouldn't be approved. Oh, yeah? Dude, this guy, I get he's not bad at making politically correct statements and wanting to push Islamophobia out of the door and I'm the face of America, and that's important to him. But it also shows to me how ignorantly blind and Chicago-minded he is to what we just talked about in wrestling with Peacock, where Muhammad Hassan is the name they will remember, not Mustafa Ali. They will remember the Iron Sheik over Mustafa Ali, and what all this little SJW shit is, or that he was the good-hearted cop, but his wife still wears a kufi, or hijab. No, excuse me, not kufi. These types of things show me how ignorant this fucking and that he really believes people are still thinking about that Retribution promo, and that to him that line, they couldn't even make a buck off of someone named Mustafa Ali, like this covert, you have a whole Middle Eastern contingent and you're screwing that up. Even like he thinks that's so smart, instead of saying the shit that I say, which is real bang bang, you know what I mean?
Isn't that kind of what he's saying without saying it and knowing that he's saying it? You can even make like a Muslim into a heel, but he doesn't want to be that heel at the same time. Yeah,
I guess, but I think he's saying, I don't think he wants to be the heel. I think he would walk out of the company before he would do my gimmick.
Well, here's what I see and what could have been seen. Daniel Bryan being anti-American as a U.S. citizen, Mustafa Ali being pro-American as a Muslim, and then you're just a completely different spin on who's anti-American and who's pro-American. And Daniel Bryan can say the truth about the environment, all this stuff and that, and Ali can talk about all the things that America has given him.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been something. I mean, you're talking about two guys that are like between them weigh as much as you. But dude, I knew the kiss of death when they gave his weight in that match on Raw, 185 pounds or 186 pounds. That proved to me right there, you're trying to make this guy smaller than life, not larger than life. And it's done, though. Even though he has kind of the Retribution thing on his tights, he wore different tights, right?
He was wearing green and white. Yeah, green and white. Yep.
So does that mean they're done? Did they even I can't even remember if they mentioned Retribution.
They did. That was, you could hear it in, this is when you had left the Raw and SmackDown review to go home, and Vince and I were on. I go, you could hear in Samoa Joe's ear out through his mouth, and after Fastlane, looks like Retribution's no more. They've like that was in one line, kissed off and done, bro. One line from Vince's mouth through Samoa Joe as the conduit, and that was the end of it. And that was on Raw this week.
Now, as a question, Do you think that, like, Ali doing these interviews, which I've always been against any of these people doing these kinds of interviews that exposes you as being not the heel you are on TV?
Well, these kind of people, take it easy, buddy.
Oh, sorry. Your kind of people. All right. I'm sure he'll get mad that I even lumped you two in as both Muslims. All right. Combine it with the fact that, I mean, the only one that stayed quiet was the Jason lookalike with the hockey mask. He never tweeted anything as far as I know, but Dijak and Mia Yim were completely different than they were on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just checking.
T-bar stands for trans rights, bro.
I wonder if they all are looking at each other saying, who fucked over the angle and why am I not on TV right now? And the kid and hockey mask kid is just like, you all should have shut the fuck up, right?
You had to choose one: T-bar, Mace, or Slapjack.
What would I call myself?
Oh, if you have to choose one. Which one?
Oh, the hockey mask kid is my favorite because he
is that Slapjack. I don't even know
whoever acts the most animalistic. And I forgot about Dio Madden, who was one of the guys I really enjoyed on commentary, and they killed that.
Well, him and Dabba-Kato are doing well.
Oh yeah, he's doing
I mean,
that guy was good on commentary.
Yeah, I mean, how about 3 weeks after Mania? Are all of Retribution going to be featured endeavored in the bloodbath?
Or they're going to make the big comeback and do a 20-man tag with Ember, NXT, Moon Palmer, all the other ones.
I hope they give Ember Moon a golf gimmick.
Dude, they haven't really released a ton of people from NXT, if you think about it. They've released people that are...
They just signed 18, the most in any class.
What I'm saying is they haven't released anybody who's never really been on TV, who you never really heard of, but they haven't turned around and sent a message to the locker room by, like, releasing Gargano, saying we've done all we can with you. Like, that would... The roster would look at that and go, oh, okay, well, we're not here forever.
Yeah.
Not saying you do that to a guy or a girl, and, especially during these times, but there needs to be some sense of urgency where these people are trying to, I don't even know what the pay structure is. What's the incentive to make more money within either company right now? You can't gauge it on ratings. You can't gauge it on fan reaction. I don't even know if there's merchandise sales at this point because people bring the shirts and wear them to the building. And WrestleMania is the biggest merch seller of the year. So how many millions are you losing there?
A lot.
The company. Hey, Vince Hunter and Stephanie.
They didn't have a bunch of stuff. They had all of last year's stuff that they can just resell again this year.
I bet you that's why they stayed in the same place with the same logo and everything. Yeah. Here's what I'm saying, though. Vince isn't going to take a pay cut. Kevin Dunn's not going to lose a dime. Triple H and Stephanie are going to somehow make money, just like Vince and Kevin. The talent is always going to lose, which once again, I say, as I said earlier, try to create your own income stream. Don't take these vanity metrics for granted. Don't take 2 million people that hang on every word that you say and may go, oh, okay, I didn't know they had gym equipment, or I didn't know this person had this hair product or makeup. I'll try it.
Why doesn't
people do that?
Banks have her own blue hair dye? Purple, or she should have her own hair dye gimmick, all that. The show needs to be the commercial for the individual at this point, but they're going to shut down. I mean, they did it with Lana. She was getting the Bang Energy money from those drinks and being and fuck that. We can't have that. Instead of, let's partner with, even if they're a lower brand that we can help bring up off of that. But if it didn't come from the office and they're not getting their fucking main kick 80% while Sasha gets 20, if it was the other way around, Sasha gets 80 and 20. Nope, that's we can't have that, bro. Fuck that. He's getting worn out. This one's gonna make him upset too because of what I did. But Asuka reveals she recently underwent dental surgery. Asuka was a guest on Raw Talk this week, and during her appearance, she confirmed recently undergoing dental surgery. I have to watch that episode. Fans will remember Asuka was out of action recently following a match with Shayna Baszler. During the match, Asuka was kicked in the face, which resulted in her losing a tooth. On Raw Talk, she revealed that she got surgery 3 days ago to deal with it, stating that she's wearing temporary teeth at the moment, and that's why the table hitting her in the face hurt so much on Raw during this week's contract signing. Asuka will be defending her Raw Championship against Rhea Ripley on night 2 of WrestleMania next week. Yeah, I said this to Russo, bro. It was a brutal shot, and this is after Shayna kneed her in the face 2 weeks ago, after the week before she kicked her fucking teeth out, bro, in a shoot kick. She's been hit in the face, directly in the teeth, with a table, a kick, and a knee 3 out of 4 weeks, bro, because of these fucking terrible, terrible workers who are not ready for TV.
I'm not laughing at that. I searched on YouTube under her name to see if the dental surgery or something came up.
Yeah.
Was this on WWE or was this on Raw? Oh, it was a network exclusive. Asuka cannot wait to defend her title. Exclusive March 29th, 2021. Presented by Nissan Cup Noodles.
Oh.
I got to send it to you.
Nice. I mean, strong if she's partnering with them. She does do a lot of influencer videos and that they don't mess with her that much. But here's what I did, Stevie, and I know you're tired of me giving away creative for free, but black market creative, and I'll stooge it off because, friends with Reba, and she's with Jimmy Paradise, a longtime buddy of mine. And it's just when I get ideas like this, I got to get them out, and I don't care if they're going for free. And I even sent it to Britt Baker via DM, but I didn't get any message. But Reba and I talked for a bit. But I thought right after that happened, they should do a Britt Baker in her office promo where she's working on somebody and you don't even reference it, that like of what's going on there, but in the chair with the mouth covered, you get an Asian model to come in and you dye her hair the exact colors of Asuka and make it look like Britt Baker's working on Asuka, but then Britt just turns and cuts a promo on her business as a good covert fuck you to WWE for Asuka getting her teeth knocked out. Would have been so easy to do. But I think now that I'm telling you now because I think the train has left the station on
it's
that.
Way too late. Yeah. When she was off TV for the week or two, they should have just jumped on it.
So I'm here's how black market creative works. And, shout out, I'm not trying to put heat on Rebel, but, she popped for it. But things sometimes will get done and make it to TV, but that's what I try and do to tie things across all lines. And if I got to give creative ideas away like that, I have to do it because otherwise I will sit there staring at the ceiling at night thinking about it. Yeah. So that's just
I don't blame Asuka for the noodle commercial. I just know she's allowed to do it because Vince and Bruce are popping for it. That's why.
The same as doing the the DQ chicken commercial at the end of the day.
Yeah. So
Oh well. Our final story of the day, Stevie. We made it. Here we are. The Cock removes another controversial segment from WWE's past. Another controversial moment from the WWE history has now been removed from the Cock as the company continues to go through old footage. The Cock has been removing certain moments from WWE's past that don't match current ethical standards, with Vince McMahon's backstage comments at the 2005 Survivor Series and the Roddy Piper match with Bad News Brown at WrestleMania 6 already being removed. I believe that's the what's good, my N-word from him and Cena. But the now featured segment of DX where they mimic the Nation of Domination has also been taken off the Cock and WWE Network. This sketch saw members of the group wearing blackface, which is the reason for its removal, bro. Wow. That's a big I'm not saying the other two aren't, but that's a big segment in DX history, bro, in the history of wrestling, those mimicking segments. And I don't think it was like, I'm not here to put over black. Well, I guess I am here to put over blackface because I tag with Congo Kong and he's an African-American and he puts black paint on his face. So let's have that discussion of, is it racist for a black guy to wear blackface? I also, as a probably very slight Middle Eastern ethnicity, if any at all, go and tan or put tanner and darken myself to make believe to make the audience believe that I am Middle Eastern? Is that a lighter form of blackface that I can be sought after? I've done way worse in the ring, but the DX thing wasn't as minstrel showy as it was supposed to be. It was more of like the hip hop rib on them. And, you know, here we are with another cancellation when I believe they should be doing nothing more than a disclaimer saying, you know, this might have been in a time of different racial sensitivity than where we are now. Please watch at your own risk, instead of 1984 unpersoning, rewriting history, because we're already a week in and there go 3 segments. Billy and Chuck's got to go. The Mexicool's got to go. You know,
Eddie Guerrero and Chavo too. Lie, cheat, and steal. Would that be considered to be?
Gotta go. Godfather's Hoe Train. Gotta go.
We're scrubbing history. Like, this stuff will not exist in 10 years at this point. We won't. People won't even know. They'll be thinking we're lying or making it up. ECW's gone. ECW's got to be gone.
And that's the thing. In 1984, the whole next generation doesn't even know that history was changed, but there is a generation who remembers it kind of both ways. But if you talk about it the old way, you will then be unpersoned yourself, because that means your memory is supporting the old way, and we can't have that. So you can't even have the thought crime of remembering something the old way. It's only the new way forward in the history where those things never existed.
There's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and it's actually a booming business of people coming in telling employees how to use words from now on. I was just watching a YouTube video where they brought up the list of what you should do and shouldn't do. The newest thing is that you can't say Father's Day anymore. It has to be Special Persons Day.
Mm-hmm.
You're just a men and a women. They don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. You know what I mean?
And amen is amen for Amen Ra, which is fucking, that's how far amen goes back to it. It goes back to fucking the Egyptian times, talking about Amen Ra. It has nothing to do with sexuality of amen versus a women.
Well, that's a good point in the chat, talking about, because you know, I've seen the interviews of Michael J. White on Vlad and other people talking about, and then we talked to Lord Jamar about the, you know, the emasculation of black men and feminization, making them wear dresses. Why isn't White Chicks canceled with the Wayne brothers? Why isn't that movie out?
It will be. It will be soon.
Well, that question is exactly what they want asked.
Yeah.
Because, oh, they're doing it to do, didn't do it to, oh, cool. Thanks for reminding us. Now we can get rid of everything.
That's right.
That's how you won. And that's a natural human reaction that I had. The question, but the question isn't that. The question is, like, why can't people determine it for themselves? You're telling people, and they're admitting, we're too stupid. So please just don't let us look at this. Please don't let us ever see this. In our words, pretty soon, are we really going to get rid of a part of history that we should never forget?
Was anybody
about 9/11? I'm talking about someplace in the 40s where 6 million people. Are you going to remove that from history because it's too painful?
Yes, is the answer, because we've opened Pandora's box to do this. And normally nobody was calling for Roddy Piper's footage to be pulled. That was a decision from a small group of executives who want to push this forward in what it is. And they're doing that at the cost of subscriptions, because the wrestling mob is an angry and fierce mob just waiting to cunt off about every little thing that there is, right? And now you're going to feed them. You're going to give them a reason to not subscribe after you spent $1 billion. Why? Because you think scrubbing that is going to normalize it for the Nancy Browns at home, that we can all watch wrestling now safely and it'll be a watered down product. No, those people aren't going to get involved and watch wrestling from back in the day now that it's safe emotionally for them to do that. The only chance you had was converting that niche audience from WWE Network to Peacock, and they've already thrown up 3 huge roadblocks and people before the number one weekend when they want you to convert, which is going to be WrestleMania weekend. Now, I bet 20% of the audience that would have bought that is now going to go to VIProw.me, watchwrestling.la, sportsbay.org, and watch it all.
I'll write this down. Hey, by the way, write that down.
Right there. Yeah, I'm not paying for this shit. Jesus Christ.
Master Chief Theater. Vince doesn't want to pay for WrestleMania. Hey, this is an interesting thing here. By the way, I can't wait for because NBC has to publicize how many subscribers they have on Peacock and how many. I love to see how that number drops since the acquisition of WWE Network. Society Reviews, very interesting point in the chat. We have to remove the history of World War II because we have to forget the role the communists had in starting it in the first place, which is exactly the basis or what this cultural shift in the U.S. right now is. Mm-hmm. So I sent you that meme that was somebody with a fork putting it in an electrical socket saying this time socialism, they were doing it wrong every other time. This time it'll work.
This will get through it. This will happen. It'll go well this time for us. So yeah. We know that it's not. They know that it's not. And even talking to Crazy Bone last night about this small group of people who are controlling the destiny of our industries is unbelievable. And I can't believe from a money point of view in business, which obviously a major conglomerate like NBC, that's really GE network, doing all that, is willing to take that risk after spending $1 billion to do a social appeasement on some things that are history driven that nobody was calling for those to be drummed out. You know why? Because we know wrestling's phony and it's fucking stupid. And
it's the redhead stepchild of entertainment. It always will be. But easy out. Because if that were the case, every single one of the thousands of episodes and iterations of Law and Order were not be. You have Law and Order special victims units, which is even worse, and then other Law and Order spinoffs and crime shows on this streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
That's way worse, man.
There's even
if I had kids, I wouldn't let them watch Law and Order. I don't want kids exposed to that shit.
No. There's even cringy moments of racism in The Office, of where it is like the weird black and white divide. Are they going to start going after that?
If we keep bringing it up, maybe. What are you going to have? What are you going to have on Peacock then? NFL stuff? Then you can't talk about Deshaun Watson with the 22 women that are saying he's.
You're going to have RuPaul's Drag Race. You're going to have 1,000-Pound Sisters. You're going to have all these fucking groups that have been marginalized and now want celebrity that you can't make fun of or talk bad about at all, bro. At all. I don't know why they're pushing this. It's not even a Black Lives Matter type thing. Granted, it's the my N-word, the blackface of DX, and the half black body during the Bad News Brown feud with Piper. So we see where the agenda is and for what medium now, but soon we're going to switch to Mexicans and Latinos. Then we're going to switch to women based on the Ho Train, Val Venus, the Cat, and Jerry Lawler in the cellophane rap segment. You're a trash bag
Sable segment. Every Sable segment.
Yep. Trash bag bottom feeding Ho Jericho on Stephanie. She's an empowered woman now in fucking the marketing world. We can't have things of Stephanie out there being called a trash bag bottom feeding hoe. Boy, my God.
The Grizzlies will be okay though.
Grizzlies are in there, a closeted gay man with a family.
No, they'll be okay. I mean,
yeah, they'll be fine. No, they're gonna probably take over the top spots.
Grizzlies for WWE champion now. That's what's
how about when they come with The Rock with all eating pie and pussy and making women feel a certain way, bro. Some rape culture shit. It's all right there. They're going to use it when he tries to run for the presidency unless they've scrubbed it all from history by then and it never existed.
Well, we got 11 years, probably.
I think that's enough time to do it. Katie Vick, gone. I mean, dude, it's going to be fucking like it could be the worst investment in history if they're going to treat it like this. If they don't do a disclaimer and they keep fucking Orwellian this shit. It's crazy to me, bro. Like beyond crazy. I'm a little form of entertainment
podcast. This is a wrestling yeah, this is right. You've tuned into a wrestling podcast, by the way. But Yeah, dude. I mean, it's just exhausting. It's exhausting to think that my goal, I've always wanted to have land. I always wanted to be away from people. I always wanted to be somewhat self-reliant and self-sufficient. That goal is back on the table again, but it's more of a need. There's big things happening right now. And whether you know it or not, and this is conspiracy horseman stuff. And we have to probably apologize to people listening and watching, because this friggin' long game and this trust the plan bullshit, we were wrong about it.
Mm-hmm.
This shit is going downhill. You know, now they're saying Trump's
no
gonna be in by August. And I'm like, stop it. Fucking, it was supposed to be January 20th. Then what was it, March 6th or March 4th? Stop. It's up to us now.
If anybody,
us and Lord Jamar and Crazy Bone and just people just saying no, stop.
Yep. And isn't that a fucking empowering and terrifying thing that it's down to the podcasting wrestlers to unite the fucking clans underneath in the underground to fucking bring everybody together. I mean, how do we bring some country motherfuckers who feel the same way? We kind of got to identify who that is and connect with them.
Chad Prather is always on the Blaze talking about the same shit, man. We should try to get him on.
Yeah, we got to show that there's a universal truth of what it takes to be a man, no matter what community, or an empowered woman, and no matter what community. Because Jenna-Lise Feldy, who knows a thing or two or about a thing or two, she's in the same mindset. Deplorable Janet, you know, we try and is a guy who plays an ethnic dude, and we got the Greek, the giant, and then the Christ. You know, we try and cover that passion of it all, but we definitely want to have open voices for African Americans who are talking their real talk, for country dudes who are representing hardworking men, for law enforcement, from Opperman to others that we've had. I can't remember
the person on about the child trafficking too, which was huge.
I think we're on the right path, and we just need to expand our vision and how we can start tying these people together, because if they want us to be not united, that's what we need to be pushing for. So
a lot of work to do. We're just getting started.
Yeah. Congratulations to the Bellas on your Hall of Fame induction. I mean, it's important.
Time to sit on the porch and fade away like John McCain and George H.W. Bush.
Oh, shit, dude. Let's see ya. Dust in the wind, Stevie. I got plenty to do today. I'll be back here at 1:00, hopefully with the Chris Silvio and MSG to break down AEW Light the Fuse. I've got Larry Hankin work to do, Amber Neal work, videos to compress. I got to get the Impact Attack up here in just a minute as well. I didn't get that uploaded last night, but full speed ahead as always here at Hameen Media Group. What do you got going on today, bud?
I got to create a lot of content leading up to Monday. I got to go back and work the Heels TV show on Monday. I got one more COVID test. I'm feeling very lucky and blessed for that. 2 nostrils.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very good. But I'll do that, and that money leads to the things that I'm talking about. And obviously, we've been looking for some land and trying to find more of a path. I got the battle box stuff. I'm going to put it back to good use now that we're back on track to do what we need to do, and that's about it, man. I don't know. It's sometimes after these shows, I'm like, okay, I got to get going. But what we ended this show with, it's kind of like, good Lord. And I know I keep stalling. I keep stalling on the end the NFL podcast. I do want to say this really, really quickly. Switcher Studio, I want to try to produce some shows on it, because now with the update, they actually made it more affordable. It was pretty expensive. More affordable to use now. You can have up to 5 guests at once. They have different picture-in-pictures. Like they fixed the audio issue, so you and I and Sal and Papadon should try it out. And also, what was the other thing? There's all sorts of upgrades to it that you can do right from iOS devices to produce it. So I'm still thinking about doing that along with the Rodecaster Pro. And actually, Rode is one of I talked to Jason this morning, and he wanted to thank you guys and us and me and everybody who really does use their products and shows them in a very positive, productive light and doesn't feel entitled to get stuff. We want to work together and collaborate, and Jason's cool with that. He's a good guy, a huge wrestling fan, and very disappointed with the current state of affairs in wrestling. So a guy who grew up watching me and's been a lifelong wrestling fan could be bothered to watch it these days. That says something right there.
Absolutely, man.
Now he's not even going to be able to watch most of the stuff on the network if he keeps going that way.
Yeah, and I thank him obviously for the Roadcaster Pros that he sent. I think we had about another half dozen people want to buy them just from putting the information out there. So definitely, if you're into podcasting production in any way, check out the Roadcaster Pro at an incredibly affordable price for a piece of gear. Around
what you heard earlier was playing from my phone, and I think it sounded excellent plugged into the Roadcaster.
Super easy to take calls. It's a full radio station, with awesome sound pads, and you guys know how much we use it and have fun with it. So if you're interested in becoming a podcaster, that's the number one piece of equipment, professional grade, that we're suggesting right now. We're so thankful to be working with Rode and have Jason backing us. Absolutely, man. Broster's Coffee. I don't know if they'll still hook you up because it is April Fool's Day, infidels. I was just kidding about all that stuff with Peacock, Stevie. They're not banning anything. It was all a rib on you the whole time.
I forgot about that. Gotcha. I was actually going to tweet that I'm very happy to have signed a new 10-year contract with WWE and look forward to debuting at WrestleMania. I don't know if that would be a good thing to throw out there.
I just put it out there. Just got the call. Looking forward to being at WrestleMania 37, and we'll see who bites on it.
I might get a call about 3 p.m. like, where the fuck are you? Where are you? You son of a bitch.
Books of why not? If Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy are booking themselves into angles, I figure
the place is so crazy. I could say that, and then like 2 weeks from now, I'm like, well, why did I get a check from? What am I getting? What's this?
Oh shit, man! But it's fun. It's going down. ZordosOliveOil.com, thebrosters.com. Appreciate you guys going to ProWrestlingTees.com/BenAmin/Stevie Richards. Supporting where you can. And as well as Patreon.com/Hameen Media Group. We had some signups with people like, man, how can I support you guys? Well, you'll get more extra added bonus content by doing that, or russosbrand.com, where you can find us. We're here 7 days a week. We're not hard to find, infidels. But y'all, it's Hacker Hameen. It's Big Stevie Cool. It's the Bone World Order here, breaking it down on your Friday locker room, infidels. Y'all.